Yasodana, Radharana, Yasodana, Radharana,
Bố bữa nay thì bữa nay thì Yasodana, Radharana, Yasodana, Radharana,
Divine grace, ISKCON Towaco Challenge for the AC up to the Mountain Swami to the Prabhupada. Now, Mr. Bhagavan Hamse, Party with the Battalion, Shri Srimad, Vakis, the Hunter Sanskrit, Maharaj, Shri Prabhupada, and the Kuri Vaishnava Unity, Ramchandra, Shri Vaishnava Unity, premise of the whole Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Hare Krishna, Shri Vasudeva, Shri Radha Krishna, Gopinda, Shabbat, Radha, Guru Govardhana, disappearance to the festival. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Vara
I'll not be able to film properly. Just walk me to something. Do that now. Yeah, we do that now.
Omagyantimirandasya Yanda Shakaya Chaksunimilitam Jena Tasman Sri Chaitanya Manodisham Shakitam Swayam Kadama Yamidanta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasya Guru Bhakti Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama. We'd like to give a special welcome today, of course, to our initiates, Mayuri Haridika, Omika, and Gopika. Please welcome them, give them a big round of applause. After all, they're the future of our movement, isn't it? Yeah. Our youngsters and loved ones. So we're really, really proud of them that at this relatively young age, they're embracing this serious vows and setting a good example to the world, and also in their own ways throughout their lives, helping to spread our Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement. It gives me great assurance. We're the older generation, and we're passing the baton on to the younger generation. We see devotees like this, they're young, relatively young. It gives me great faith that things will go on. So thank you, girls, very much. Well, preparing for this address, this lecture, I came across 4 verses which I feel perfectly explain the strong devotional inclinations that I've seen in these 3 girls that actually inspired their authorities, whoever they may be, my authorities, to recommend them for initiation into our illustrious Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya at such a young age. These verses are well known, they're often quoted, but one of the arts of preaching, you could say like that, is to call upon the right verse at the right time. If you want to learn to do that, just listen to Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's lectures. This is one thing that convinced me about this authorized process of Krishna consciousness, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that whatever Prabhupada said, he would back it up with a verse. And he did say one time that when speaking in learned circles, one should be able to refer to a verse to give it authority. So at this moment, I feel that I'm calling upon these verses from our illustrious Bhagavad Gita, tel quel, as we say in French, as it is, to support what I see is happening in the lives of these young girls. It's from chapter 6. I'll just quote one verse and we'll recite the others. Prapti punya kritam lokam utsiva shastata shama suchinam jinatangehe yoga vashta. It's on the tongues of some of you. People more it's in his heart. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is then born into a family of righteous people, or into a family of rich aristocracy, or he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. On taking such a birth, he, or in our case, she's, receives the divine knowledge of his previous life, and he again tries further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Guru. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, and I'll repeat that, by virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yoga principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands above always the ritualistic principles of Scripture. So there's 4 verses. I didn't quote the Sanskrit for time-wise, but I think the key words that I found were verse 43. Tattatam buddhi samyugam labate purava dehikam. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he again takes up spiritual life. In other words, a devotee, if he doesn't achieve success, he's born with a family of rich aristocracy, so he doesn't have to struggle to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. That's all taken care of, and he can focus on his sadhana, his practices of spiritual life, and achieve perfection. But even better yet is to be born in a family of transcendentalists, to wake up early, have Mangal Arti, water the Tulsi plant, relish the Srimad Bhagavatam, chant japa, take prasad, and then go to work, go to school. That's very rare. But that's happening. Devotion from a previous life. This is also confirmed, not only in Bhagavad Gita, but it's confirmed in Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:1-6. Bhaktan yakutini trasti yasya sad bhakti vashanam esha bhakti vasamritas tashaiva vidi jayate. This is Sri Rupa Goswami speaking to us. The experience of bhakti rasa occurs in the heart of that individual who has bhakti vashana, auspicious impressions of bhakti from previous lives, as well as in this life. It's very clear. The experience of bhakti rasa, the taste for devotional activity, worshiping the deity, chanting, and associating with devotees, occurs in the heart of that individual who has bhakti vashana. Auspicious impressions of bhakti from 2 things: previous lives, and by coming to this temple in Towacco and associating with devotees. A present day or a more recent example, because it's always good to show examples. We have a philosophical concept, but then we have the example. We have the Bhagavatam, we have the person Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada. So it's good to have examples. So present day example of Bhakti Bhashana. And I'm speaking specifically about being a devotee before and then continuing in this lifetime, was given by Srila Prabhupada in 1971. I was a new devotee, I was just a brand new devotee, and Prabhupada visited our Detroit, Michigan temple the first time. And it was a very intense moment for me. It was the first time I saw Prabhupada. He's walking through the door, and I'm following him. And as he entered our center, to a rousing none other, those were special kirtans, and he began walking to the temple room. He passed by my god sister, Krishna Mahamani, Krishna Mahamani, who was holding her, I think you could say safely, 18-month, year-and-a-half-year-old son. They can hold crotchels, right? And his name was Vaishnav Das. She was holding him in her arms. And Prabhupada walked by and he saw this boy. Even I was surprised. Little boy, playing the kartals like a pro. Probably not the best word, but as a devotee. So Prabhupada stopped. He actually stopped. There were hundreds of devotees. Prabhupada stopped. I just looked at Vaishnava Das and nodded his head. I wish Prabhupada would nod his head at me. But the qualification was this was a young boy playing kartals. So then Prabhupada went and he sat on the Vyasasana, And the first thing he said, he began commenting that this boy Vaishnav Das was able to play the kartals as he did because of his being a devotee in a previous life. Just quoting Rupa Goswami's definition, Bhakti Vaishnav. You get that determination by practicing in a previous life, or if you're just a beginner, you come in contact with devotees. And that association is so powerful that then you also play kartals. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that devotion service is something that you imbibe from another devotee. It's a subtle word, you imbibe. Just like we're all sitting here and God forbid if somebody has COVID, next week there's 3 people here. So that's an analogy, but not a perfect one. If someone comes and we have a kirtan leader like Kripa Moya, my favorite of all times, and he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, then you want to be like him. You want to follow in the footsteps of advanced devotees. And sure enough, some months later, I wrote a letter to Prabhupada, and he wrote me back. He said, "Dear Bhakta Brian, I heard you're doing nice in devotional service. So my recommendation is that you continue following the regular principles, chant Hare Krishna, and always follow in the footsteps of advanced devotees. And if you do that in due course of time, I'll give you a diploma," which he did. So it's kind of a repetition, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sat Mahatma Sudurlabha. Krishna says in the Gita, after many, many lives, a devotee achieves perfection. That's Krishna speaking. Prabhupada would say sometimes, our Krishna. But essentially, we're Gaur Bhaktas, because Krishna comes in this age to give an appropriate process for us, which we can, jump the line, so to speak. Krishna Varnan Tusha Krishna Mushangubham Vishabharshadam Yagnai Sankatan Prayari Kintihi Shumedasha. The same Krishna that appeared and said Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sadurlabha, he has appeared in the age of Kali. About the Mahamantra, Kali Kali Namuru, Krishna Avatar with him. You can recognize him because, he's singing his own sweet holy names, Hare Krishna, and he's surrounded by loving devotees in congregation and chanting. So Krishna is known as being very merciful, but really, his form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's even more merciful. And that was recognized by Rupa Goswami immediately. Mahaprabhu was on his way from Mayapur, or actually he's Mayapuri. He's on his way from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. He passed through Ramkeli, where Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were living. He hadn't seen him yet. So the moment Rupa Goswami saw Mahaprabhu at Ramkeli, they were working for the Muslim government. When he first saw him, words came from his heart. Momaha Bananaya, Krishna Prem Padayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namo. You are the most merciful incarnation, meaning even more merciful than Krishna, because you're giving the topmost message, which is Braj Bhakti, the loving mood of the residents of Vrindavan. That's the topmost position one can ever achieve. To the people of Kali Yuga, what could be more amazing? We're fortunate to be born in the age of Kali. Who wants to be born in the age of Kali? Prabhupada said the demigods are waiting in line in the heavenly planets to take birth in this movement, because it gives them the opportunity to go beyond liberation, to go on to the Loka Vrindavan and live an eternal life full of wisdom and knowledge. So that's possible. And it's a repetition. Vasudeva Sarvam, thousands of lives. In Krishna consciousness. Where's that quote? Where's that authorized statement? I was reading A Harmonist. It's a magazine produced by the Gaudiya Math under the direction of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disappearance day yesterday. And I read that in one initiation lecture, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said, I see no reason why all my disciples cannot achieve pure devotional service in one lifetime. So there it is. But of course, it's reciprocal. The opportunity is there. Can't dance fake Prashadam, serve the Sankirtan movement. We do it with all our heart and soul, Atma Niveda, and we fully surrender. It is possible. So therefore I say, Mahaprabhu is even more merciful than Krishna. But it is an ongoing process. And that's also described. How is it an ongoing process? That's described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 28th chapter, text 29. And I'll recite it here. Quote, sometimes the progress of imperfect transcendentalists is checked by attachment to family members, disciples, or others who are sent by envious demigods to that purpose. But on the strength of their accumulated advancement, bear in mind, accumulated advancement, Bhakti-Vaishnava, such imperfect transcendentalists will resume their practice of yoga in the next life. As a result, they will never again be trapped in the network of fruited work. It gives us hope. The challenge is very vague. Mayadakshani prakriti suyate. Difficult to overcome. Wow. If Krishna says that, what hope there is? Hope is surrender. And Krishna will, seeing us, he'll help us at every step. But I'm just a bhakta. Well, so little baby. The baby's just starting to walk. Not running the Olympics, but it gives so much pleasure to the mother and father. Just see, like there's that famous photograph of Prabhupada, Agarwal's house, when he first came to America, and their little son, what was the name? Bridge. He took his first step, and Prabhupada's like, whoa, you see his big, whoa. So you don't have to worry. Even when you do, Krishna's there to encourage us. So that was what Prabhupada said about Vaishnava. He said that he has practiced. Bhakti Vaishnava, he has practiced in a previous life. Therefore, he's taken to Krishna consciousness like a duck takes to water. Prabhupada didn't say that. And so we all wish Vaishnava Das to achieve that exalted goal in his very lifetime. Actually, he's a very nice devotee, Vaishnava Das. He's in his 40s, or I don't know, maybe early 50s, and he's married to one of my disciples. They have 2 children. He's like a devotee, so I'm very happy for him. And this type of progress, this bhakti Vaishnava, it creates a certain faith. If you practice Krishna consciousness, you gain faith and realization. It's an authorized process. It's not just some philosophical concept. The more you practice, the more you convince. And you get faith. You get that nam-ruchi, isn't it? I heard the kirtan coming in here. The whole building was shaking. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. You get taste to hear. Shravanam, Kirtanam brings Krishna Smarana. Remember, it's a real process. It's a real process. So it's based on this faith. And the other day I was reading Madhurya Kandalini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he says, he's like, a real go-getter, up every morning, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, studying the Shastra, offering the prasadam, associating with devotees, on and on, year after year. He said there's 2 types of that type of faith that are required to take up devotional service and interest. Sachas Svabha Viki Kirapi Bhalad Aditacha. Svabhakti Viki means Shraddha, faith, that comes from being a devotee in your last life. Like these girls, you don't have to convince them, you're not the body. No form of life is meant for self-realization. The easiest and most sublime process is chanting Hare Krishna. So you don't have to convince them. In fact, they came out of the womb like that. Am I right? These girls they just took to Krishna consciousness. They're very good teenagers. What do teenagers do? I'm not going to tell you. Go to school and go to the disco on Friday night. But not that's Bhakti Viki. This arises, he says, due to association with the sadhu in this life, or svabhaviki. Svabhaviki means that shraddha is gained from being a devotee in the previous life. So I think we can safely conclude that these young girls, their strong faith in the practice of Krishna consciousness is due in part to being devotees in their previous lives. And like Vaishnava Das, we wish them all success in achieving perfection in Krishna consciousness in this lifetime. Me, I had to take birth and, meet a devotee and then get enlivened. But this is something, I started when I was 20. They started when they were, some girl said the other day, her sister was just born. I said, how old's your sister? She said 0. The mother gave birth the day before. I said, how old's your sister? 0. So, yeah, I was 0. But they came in with some credit there. So, best of luck. And you could say that in this lifetime, because they're taking up, they're not yet perfect. That's our job as your spiritual mentors to help you achieve perfection. That journey in this lifetime begins in earnest with this initiation ceremony. It's like, the rocket, it goes up into the atmosphere, but to go beyond the law of gravity, it needs a booster. And then it's outer space floating. Any of you are into space travel, spacing. But to go beyond the law of gravity, then they make a booster, and then it goes on it. So they're okay, but they're not there yet. That's what I have to tell them. Not that you're not there yet. What are you holding on to? Come on, increase your determination. Chant more. That's the duty of the spiritual master. So this initiation is like a booster that could propel them beyond. And therefore, it's a great day. It's a great day for them individually. It's a great day for your community. You should be proud of your children. It's a great day for this great country of America. It's a great day for the world. Wait a minute, Mara. How, it's not in the BBC or CNN. That's all about football now. So, how's it a great day? No, it's not an exaggeration. Because each and every Vaishnava in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has a double portfolio. A double portfolio. For he or she is simultaneously working on their own investment every day. The Vaishnavas are very soft-hearted. They're not hard-hearted like those who perform too many austerities, yogis and jnanis. The Buddhists are very soft-hearted. They feel sad when they see people are bereft of Krishna consciousness, and they feel happy when they see people getting the opportunity for Krishna consciousness, book distribution, festivals, restaurants, and temples. This is the devotee. So they're not only working, these girls will only work on their own devotion, but they will also, throughout their lives, be concerned about the deliverance of all humanity. These two things. And this is confirmed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. We wanted to speak a lot about him today, so I'm just quoting him. What better way to glorify him? In his course to Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he writes as follows. In the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, I like how he dresses now, Sriman Mahaprabhu. In the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, there are only two principal instructions. He's just summarizing, right? Boiling down the milk. In the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, there are only two principal instructions. Develop a taste for chanting the holy names and display compassion for the fallen souls. This is what we're telling our students today. Develop a taste. Namruchi, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And in your own way, throughout your lives, Krishna will give you the opportunity to share the good fortune. And that he came to this world, he didn't act in the same capacity he does in the world. We're not supposed to speculate what he is there. But one time the devotee said to Prabhupada, "Who are you in the spiritual world?" Prabhupada said, "If I told you, you'd faint." So we'll leave it at that. And when he came to the school, what was he doing? He was very active in sharing his good fortune of the residents of Vrindavan, their good fortune, with the people of Kali. So he's Acharya. We're meant to follow in his footsteps. Essentially, this International Society for Krishna Consciousness is a missionary movement. You take away the missionary spirit and it will dry up. I don't even want to say that, but this is a missionary movement. We're meant to share in our own ways. Everyone has the right to do that. So, yes, once again, Mayuri, Omika, Gopika have taken fortunate births. But nevertheless, girls, like for all of us, you took birth in the material world. And for anyone and everyone who takes birth in this, Prabhupada summarized it up. Eloquence is truth spoken concisely. Like Vedanta Sutra, it summarizes this vast Vedic knowledge in sutras or verses. So Prabhupada, he summarized this whole phantasmagoria of existence. He said, it's problematic. It's problematic. That's mostly what it is. You know, we have a few moments, oh, that was fun. And what's the main problem with taking birth? For one who has taken birth, Krishna makes it very clear in Bhagavad Gita, he's sure to die. Oh, but not finished. After death, one takes birth again. Oh, but maybe it'll be different next time. I'll be born, wealthy, and, I'll become famous, and I'll be healthy up all the way to 90s, and first impressions are the most important. Understand something? Many times, first impressions are the most important. So, you come out of your mother's womb because you have learned to breathe oxygen. The doctor takes your little feet on your backside, remember? No, I'm telling you. And the result is, welcome to the material world. First impression. So life means birth, but we're also guaranteed death. It's like two sides of a coin. One is heads and one is tails, like in the World Cup. I don't know what a World Cup is, but the World Cup, it's a big cup, right? They flip the coin and there's heads and tails. So one side's happy, so life's like that. One side is happy. My father, to kind of perk things up in the house, there was a song in the 1940s. Everything's coming up roses. Everything's going. So life's like that, right? There's birth, there's a new being, there's a fresh start, there's hope and aspiration. This time I'll make it. But then suddenly dismay, disappointment, tragedy. Therefore, a devotee's always a little sober. Of course, we're happy. We're happy. Someone told me the other day, I know you guys, you're the happy people. Really? One time a captain of an airplane said, I know you guys, you're the kitchen religion. I had to say this is the Hare Krishna movement. You're the happy people. So we are happy, but we're not naive. Even if we haven't experienced it, we take faith in Krishna's instructions. This world is temporary and full of suffering. And if what happened, that was going to happen later. It's a question of time. So we're happy, but we're always a little sober. Sobriety. Like Chanakya Pandit said, Tyaja dujana samsargam, vajasada samagamam, Kuru punyam aho ratyam, shmara nityam anityatam. It's one of my favorite verses. Give up the association of evil persons. Partake of the association of saintly persons. Perform pious deeds both day and night, and always remember the flickering nature of the material world. If you want to get a tattoo, to do that one. It's more realistic. Don't tattoo. Give up the association of evil people. Partake of the association of saintly persons. Perform pious deeds day and night. And always remember the flickering nature of this material world. And if you can't remember, you will remember after you pass 70 years of age. Because my generation, we're meeting, we're always saying, how's your health? Well, we'll sit down and I'll tell you. That's how we feel. So, but we're telling the youngsters, remember the flickering nature, because disease and death, it doesn't just come to old people. Sometimes it happens in the young people. I was in a hospital with meningitis when I was, they didn't have the antibiotics that they do to cure meningitis. So we were experiments. Each of us received a different drug to cure the meningitis. And I lived, and all the other 6 boys died. I had the right medicine. So these tragedies can come at any point. So we should all be wise souls, like they call it old souls. When you're young, you can be an old soul. If you don't realize it, then hear from Srila Prabhupada, read his books, and make it very clear. But take hope. However dismal, it's a good word, right? Dismal, like today it's dismal outside. It's snowing. And Kautamashi and Vegetamika, my servants, they've never seen snow. Oh, it's snowing, this is wonderful. And they walk out, boom, and fall down. So however dismal the situation can be, there's always hope in Krishna consciousness. Because it's a positive alternative. And Krishna makes it very clear in Bhagavad Gita. If you take up the process of Krishna consciousness, then you never have to take birth again. If somebody offers you that, you're not going to accept it? I mean, somebody offers you $1 billion, you'll take it, but this is worth more than all the wealth in the 3 worlds. Bhakti mam abhijananti, yavanyashtasmi tatpataha, tatamam tatpataha, vishiteta anantara. One can understand me as I am only through the process of devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, this takes time. Through such devotion, he can enter the kingdom of God. So, people looking for the solution, science and technology and medicine. No. There's one key that opens the door of liberation. And beyond liberation, the freedom to serve Krishna at his playground. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. It literally means a place where there's no anxiety. But that's Prabhupada said that's the official kingdom of God. Because there it's master servant, which is fine. We're practicing that word right now. It's the official kingdom of God. But Goloka Vrindavan is the playground of God. Krishna's playing with the boys, dancing with the girls, having one fun with his parents. That's where we belong. Anything other than that is not natural. I want to eat natural food and take natural medicine. And okay. But your real nature is a liberated soul living in Goloka. That's the most natural place you can be. And if you can imbibe that lifestyle, even in this world, you can be relatively free from lots of the miseries in this world. Just to be a devotee. You don't have to take the new fad, the keto diet. If you're in anxiety, read Krishna book. Your mind will be. If you're sick, just say, "Yep, that's what it's all about. This world." So these girls have taken birth in this material world, and now we're chastising you. But this birth today, this is called second birth. This is something glorious, falling down, that's the process of money. Take to Krishna consciousness, take shelter of a spiritual master, get initiated, do service, you start going up. So this is a happy day, right? Like this. So what is that? A smile. This family worships Jagannath deities. Gita. He's Jagannath Bhakta. They have Jagannath Devas. You look at Jagannath's smile, he's always smiling because he's seeing his devotees worshiping him. That means they're going back home, back to Godhead. So big smile, falling, Diksha, going up. Oh, happy days. This is a happy day for them. So what is the process for taking birth? In the material world, it means that the father, he plants the seed of life into the womb of his wife. But in Krishna consciousness, it begins, this birth from the spiritual master awakens the seed of bhakti, bhakti lata bij, in the heart of his disciple at the moment of initiation. How does he do that? By sound. Shabda Brahma. Sound has great potency. So traditionally, at this initiation ceremony, the spiritual master, he speaks the mantra into the right ear of the disciple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And it wakes the disciple up. Prabhupada would often say, we're all in a sleeping condition. And there's different types of sleeping, right? There's a nap. Prabhupada called it a snap. He said to us, I'm going to take a snap. I said to my godmother, what's a snap? He says, that's what Prabhupada calls a nap. Prabhupada was coining all these phrases. Very cute. So there's a nap and there's deep sleep. You get 2 or 3 hours of deep sleep a night. Then there's comatose. You're just gone for the day. I'm so tired. Or there's some accident or something. But the deepest sleep is the complete ignorance that we're in. And that condition is addressed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jeev jago, kora chandra bhole, kota nidra dharmaya, sachiru kole. Hey, how long are you going to sleep in forgetfulness? How long are you going to be influenced by the witch, the wicked witch of the north, oh my, the wicked witch of Maya? So we're all in that comatose condition until we're pure devotees. So how do you wake up a sleeping man? Well, but to wake up someone who's forgotten Krishna, there's only one way. Harinam, 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 Kevalam. Hello, Naste. So when you wake up, let's talk about when you wake up. I'd like to wake up from that deep ignorance. Like, what am I going to see when you wake up? When you wake up in the morning, right? A materialistic person wakes up and he, then what does he see? The coffee cup, the porridge, the kids screaming, get in a car, drive through the New York traffic. What do you see when you wake up? Not devotees. So when your eyes are open, your third eye, they have third eye. It's figurative. It's not this third eye. The third eye is wisdom to see things in the proper perspective. Knowledge. If you go, that's the third eye. So what do you see when you wake up with your third eye? That's described by Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Satya Kavunai Sarvanadi Shuta Chite Kariye Udai. Bengali soul. Sweet. Actually. One day people will learn Bengali to read Chaitanya Charitamrita in its original form. So, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Satya Kavunai Shravanadi Shudachi Kariye. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entity. It is not something that can be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. Awaken to see things as they are. One time Prabhupada said he was installing the small Radha Krishna deities in Los Angeles. He said, if you worship these deities according to the rules and regulations I'm giving you, if you don't see them as brass, but you worship them according to how I'm teaching you, one day these deities will speak to you. My dear Lord, you're not a statue, you're directly the son of Maharashananda. And the Brahmin voice said, Shakti, Gopal, come with me, stand as my witness. And the deity said, yes. The voice said, but how are you going to come with me? So the Lord said, if I can talk, I can walk. Walk he did, all the way to Krishna. So we'll see things as they are. We can come face to face with Krishna. But it takes some time. Like when you wake up in the morning, like at least me, I'm like, whoa, wow, that's water. Patience. Patience is a virtue. We have to be patient. We have to be patient. Like some sects in India, the guru supposedly reveals to his disciple at the moment of initiation his swarup, his eternal relationship with Krishna. You're a gopi, you're a cowherd boy. You know, that's not our process of initiation. One of my godbrothers in the 70s, he kind of went off track and left Prabhupada and went to a Babaji out of Tycoon, and that Babaji revealed to him who he was in Krishna Lila. So he lived next to me in one room. And in the morning, I could hear him going, ah, ah, ah. And I went over, I said, what is that? He said, I'm Peacock. It's wonderful. It's variety is the spice of life. Even Madhavendra Puri, it's mentioned that the great Madhavendra Puri who introduced Braj Bhakti to the world a little bit before the appearance of Mahaprabhu. He gave the appetizer. In the spiritual world, he's a tree in Nidhivan, Kalpavriksha tree in Nidhivan. And because he's able to witness the most beautiful and loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna, he understood what is Braj Bhakti. And when he appeared in this world, he began introducing. It's described as only 3 personalities who can really understand and experience that Mahabhav, it's Madhavendra Puri, Radharani, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So don't think, oh, peacock. No, don't think tree. All the living entities, whatever rasa are in the spiritual world, it's said they're all working together to facilitate the Madhurya rasa, the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna in different ways. Like that. So this, but anyway, I said chant Hare Krishna. Or, you know, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's like when Ramakrishna is somebody in Bengal in the last century, it said that he was getting old, so he just touched his disciple Vivekananda on the head and supposedly transferred all his spiritual powers to him, and he fainted. This is to show. That's not our process. First there's purification, then there's revelation. Prabhupada summarized it. Workers, because we know, like Confucius said, the longest journey begins with the first step. It's, you know, if you're drowning in the ocean and someone picks you up 1 inch above the water, you're drowning. You're good. They ask you how you're doing. I'm good. You know, you're not back in the boat, you're not back on land, but you're above the water, you're not drowning. So we're satisfied just to be the humble servants of a glorious master. We don't want to achieve anything greater than that. We're all servants of Prabhupada. We're serving his mission. We're content at any stage, but we know Prabhupada wants us to become pure devotees, not so that we become famous, but we become more valuable instruments in his seva, of saving conditioned souls. That's what Prabhupada did. We're happy. Happy as a bug in a rug. So from that understanding, everything will come. We don't have to worry about a deliverance. One time, Bhakti Sri Maharaj, he was in Prabhupada's room in 1974, and there was a devotee who asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, when you leave this world, how will I realize my spiritual identity? Because we understand that revelation comes through the spirit. So he said, how will I realize my eternal spiritual identity? You won't be here to tell me. So Prabhupada paused and kind of smiled and he said, don't worry about your swarup. When the time arrives, I'll personally come and reveal your swarup. For now, just follow this authorized process. And wasn't it Narada Muni who said something very similar to the Hunter Mugari? It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhulila. Narada Kahe. Kahe means it's Bengali talking. Tara Amara Bhachana Tabe se Karite Pare Tomara Mochara. Quote, Narada Muni assured the hunter, Murari, if you listen to my instructions, I shall find a way that you will be liberated. If you follow my instructions, I'll find a way for you to be liberated. We just serve Prabhupada's mission. It will be arranged for us. It will be arranged for us by higher authority. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is the secret of success. If one has unflinching faith in Krishna and the spiritual master, the result is, if one has unflinching faith in Krishna and the spiritual master, the result is that all devotee of Krishna can make the same demands that Narada Muni is making. He says, if you follow my instructions, I shall take responsibility for your liberation. Therefore, we need Guru. To vidi paripatena paripashana silya buddhi shanti kedana. We need a teacher who's got our back. If you follow my instructions, Prabhupada's words, I shall take responsibility for liberation. We're going to serve, like the British, I think, you know that. To fly to serve, the British Air Force. To fly to serve. And because this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. It's our treasure. It's our treasure. It's our most valued possession because we get freedom from lifetimes of sin. We get freedom from material desires. But ultimately, we get what? Upavinda, feeling of separation. I consider it in a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm feeling all vacant in the world of your absence. We get in this world, if you have everything a conditioned soul could want, but you don't have someone to share it with, you can't be happy. Be lonely and be alone in your tower. But if you have nothing but the share on your back, but you have someone to love, just like Lomika, she's now married. She's so peaceful and happy. Nice, handsome gentleman. We're working together so nicely. So you may have nothing. What does she have? She's a college graduate, starting her work. But she has love. Mayuri has her dad and her mom. She's totally in love with her parents, and they are totally in love with her. But that's all you really need. You just need love. But what type of love are we ultimately hanging for? Bhaja Bhakti. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord. He shall always remain so. Even if he handles me roughly by not being before me. He's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. That unconditional love that, Krishna comes first, me second, I don't care, whatever Krishna wants. Yogakshenmu Mahamyam. To such devotee, Krishna says, I protect what you have and I'll provide what you need. We're not thinking like that. We're thinking, what can make Krishna happy? So that type of love we want. With all due respect, we want to go beyond the Aishvarya Bhav. God is great and we're very small. That's how we're being trained by Prabhupada. We're jumping ahead. God is great and we're very small. That's our understanding. But eventually we want our love to become so pure that, when the nature of bhakti is that Krishna becomes subservient to his devotees' love. He's a controller, but bhakti controls the Lord. Radha doesn't do what Krishna wants. Krishna does what Radha says. That's a very sweet relationship. He's the supreme controller, but for the sake of rasa, he becomes subservient to his devotee. I'll tell you a little pastime in that connection. Madhu Mangal, that little funny Brahmin boy, he's the son of Sandapani Muni. This is Braj Bhakti, okay? He said to Krishna one time, Krishna, you're a Vaishya, coward boy. You're a Vaishya. You take care of cows, but I'm a Brahmin. So you should show more respect to me. This is talking to God. This is very sweet. You should show some respect to me. So Krishna said, well, but you see, Madhu Mangal, more important than birth are one's deeds. More important than birth are one's deeds, one's activities. They are simply extraordinary. So you must recognize that I'm a very great personality. So Madhu Mangal, the funny cowherd boy, he said, Krishna, just see how conceited you become. The Krishna said, but it's true, I've done so many great things. When I was 6 years old, Putana came to kill me, and I killed her. And then I killed Trunivarta, and you saw how I said, Govardhan, Jai Giri 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 Govardhan. I lifted a mountain. These are my super excellent activities. You have to respect me. You must recognize me for my activity at my birth. So in joking fun, the Acharya said, Madhamangal said, Krishna, as far as Putin is concerned, it's said that the demigods protected the children and old people. So we all know it was the demigods who actually killed Putana, and you want to take that? As for lifting Govardhan Hill, Nanda Baba, Balaram, and all the cowherd men, they were propping up Govardhan Hill with their sticks. I saw it, and you want to take the whole credit? And as far as subduing Kaliya, you were finished. You were practically dead. Everyone saw your bluish complexion had become even darker due to his poison, and you were in his coils. And seeing you, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, they all fainted. And seeing that, I took pity on them. And I chanted the mantra to subdue a serpent. And as a result, Kali became so frightened that he released you from his coils. And then you jumped on his head and started dancing like you've done a great job. But here's the punchline. Krishna said, oh, I see. Please accept my humble obeisances. Special love and friendship and parenthood, etc. The love of the Brajavasis. That's what this mantra gives us. We don't need to chant any other mantras. Maha means that the benefit you get from any other mantras, with all due respect, is there in Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay, 5 minutes more, and then give the names. So chanting means proper chanting, avoiding the 10 offenses, and the 11th offense. Wait a minute. Yes, there's an 11th offense. Srila Jiva Goswami has given 11 offenses. It's to be inattentive while chanting the holy names. He actually writes, if you're spaced out, I'm just inattentive, modern terminology, if you're spaced out while chanting, you can inadvertently commit all the other 10 offenses just by being inattentive. So he warns us, don't be, what's the opposite of inattention? Focus. To focus. I often tell devotees, your mind wandering? Yes, Guru Maharaj. Well, chant louder. You're like, Mom. Chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jayapataka Maharaj, when he was a new devotee in Toronto, he was chanting so loud, the temple president had to tell him to go up on the nearest hill and chant around. Prabhupada didn't disagree. Jayapataka Maharaj. So we have to focus. And in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a story of Avaduta Brahmana in the forest. And one day, the king of the land, his name was Maharaj Yadu, he was on an expedition, and he passed by this Avaduta Brahman. And Maharaj Yadu, he was so impressed that this Avaduta was sitting properly, and he was doing his job. I can just say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So the king, Rajrishi means a saintly person sitting on the throne. The king is a saint, but he's also very excellent in administration. So this was Maharaj. So he stopped and he inquired. He asked spiritual questions from the sage. And one of his questions was related to how to focus on my spiritual practices. How to focus. We all know how the mind wanders. Whose mind wanders, be honest? Okay. Whose mind doesn't wander? All right, there you go. So, the Avadhuta Brahman, he explained to Maharaj Yadu how to focus. And I'm going to finish today with this. How to focus. Because they're getting initiated into the Mahamantra. We want them to chant it properly to get the results. So the Avadhuta Brahman, he recounted to Maharaj Yadu what he learned, how to focus from an arrow maker. How to focus. He said, I learned it from an arrow maker. Usually I'll go to Guruji or I'll go to this stuff, saintly friend. He learned how to focus from an arrow maker. How was that? He said this arrow maker, he made arrows by hand. He would take long slivers of wood and spend hours sanding them down and carving them. And they had to be perfectly straight. Otherwise, they would fly off course. So one day when the arrow maker was absorbed in his trade, he was sitting in his little shop on the main thoroughway to the town. All of a sudden, the king, Vive le roi, he's coming with his whole entourage to town. And his entourage had elephants and jugglers and dancing girls and acrobatics, making a huge commotion. Bugles, drums, flowers were flying everywhere. And he passed by the arrow maker's studio. Later that day, a friend of the arrow maker came and he asked, did you see him? Did you see him? So the arrow maker replied, did I see who? And his friend said, the king. And the arrow maker said, what king? The king, our king, his friend said. He was here today. He came to town. He passed right in front of your workshop. How could you have not seen him? So the arrow maker replied, I didn't see him. I didn't see anything. I only saw my arrows. I only saw my arrows. I was focusing on them, making them perfect. So the Avadhuta Brahman, he said to Maharaj Yadu, go and inquire from him. In the same way, the transcendentalist must not be disturbed by whatever is happening around him, but he has to focus on the spiritual practices. And for us, Prabhus, that means Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Let us not be guilty of the 11th offense. Give a lecture on the 10 offenses, but it's going to be late. We won't do that. But at least let us not be attentive in our chanting. And then eventually have faith, have that shraddha, be convinced. Prabhupada says so, like the Christians say. Jesus loves me, this I know, because the Bible tells me so. So Prabhupada has said that he'll take responsibility for our liberation. If we practice our sadhana and we help him spread the Sankirtan, we won't have to worry about it. The bhav will come. The devotion will come. Pleased with our own efforts to chant, pleased with our efforts to get others chanting. Our spiritual masters will bless us with mercy. Param Gopyam Vishnipide, Shishe Bhatsyam Iti Shruti, Touch Turu Yatam Mahabhagya, Golokmani Madhuna. The Vedas say that to a loyal disciple, one may speak the confidential secret. Therefore, O most fortunate one, now please hear the glories of Goloka. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. 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 Jai Sri Radhe. Yes, we're high, and the steps we get money. So, we're in this world and, we take a bath every day because we come in contact with the elements. But we have a subtle body. The mind, intelligence, and the ego. It's just as real as the material body. When the material body is gone, you go to your next body with your subtle body. The subtle body can also become, and when you're unclean, you can become sick. This is a very important ceremony, so to become cleansed. So we're going to do a particular mantra, and after pour the water, I'll teach you how to do that. The meaning of this mantra is as follows: both pure and impure, having passed through all the conditions of material life, if one can remember the lotus-eyed Lord, he becomes externally and internally cleansed. So the initiates will take the spoon in their left hand. You can just listen for a moment. You take the spoon in your left hand with some drops from the alcohol. You put 3 drops there. And you look at the water and you infuse it with transcendental potency. You say, Om Keshavaya Namaha, and then you sip. Because the lips have touched the hand, the hand's impure, so you take 1 drop on the right hand and you throw it to the side. So, breathe out. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Okay. After this motion, everyone can repeat. Om Pavitra Vitrova Sarvastam Atopiva Smaret Udikaksham Sahaya Ayantara Shri Vishnu Okay, I have to share the cups, but sharing's good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Next, I'll chant Om Madhavaya. Everyone repeat. Om Bhavitra Sarvastam Atopiva Udikaksham Sahaya Ayantara Shri Vishnu Om Madhavaya. You got time, what was it?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
And lastly, Om Nayanaya. Om Pavitra Sarvastam Atopiva Smaret Udikaksham Sahaya Shri Vishnu Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
So the initiates can put on their neck beads, which resonates with welcome. Two initiates. First initiate. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
keep going. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
It can be done later. It's been enough. But those are new. Do we have garlands? Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
This is everybody. One of the favorite points in this. It's all meant. We're going to ask Mayuri and Omika in particular to come forward and take the vows of initiation. No meat eating, no intoxication, no sex, and no gambling. And they promise to chant 16 rounds of the Mahamudra every day. Very simple. Maharaj, you've heard that many times, but my experience at these ceremonies is that very often even PhD candidates come up and they're so nervous they forget what the four principles are. Just remind them. And but the candidates take the vow, but also the spiritual master, in his heart, he also takes a vow, because these things are all reciprocal. He takes a vow in his heart that he will not rest until the candidate or the candidates or his disciples are back in the spiritual world. This is my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, to keep the tradition going. So I always like to finish the service. I don't want to, start a service and then run on just another service. We're taught to complete the service. So this is a responsibility to bring the devotees to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, because he's the master at whose feet all that is. So I promise those of you who are taking a picture today that, I'll be the last man. I'll make sure. Not me, but I pray that Prabhupada would give me intelligence, the fortitude, the determination, the intelligence, the devotion that I can do this service properly and bring you back home, back to Godhead, to the kunjas, the forest of Shiva every day.
No eating, no toxin, no sex, no gambling, and I promise to chant.
Good girl. Such a nice man. I've been waiting 20 years to do this. Well, I've been waiting since I first met you, about 7 or something. But this girl's got potential. As I was hoping you would make it. So the pretty name, short, that's good. Your name means servant of Vrindavan's dearmost, Srimati Radharani. From this day forth, you should be known as Priya Radhe. Priya Radhe. Where's Papa? You want to get the camera, okay. At this moment, I'd also like to to thank Sarvesh and Manjulali and your grandparents, right? Sami Kurishi and Arthur Blessing, for bringing this young girl to the point of initiation. I kind of came on late in the game. I'm not taking any credit. I'm just kind of glad to be part of the family now. I was saying yesterday we did a program at the home and a beautiful painting on the wall. Somebody painted a beautiful painting. So if that painting's done, but there's this few little extra touches, that's what I'm doing. I'm just coming and adding a few leaves here, with the blue to the sky, to the smile or something. Just adding my finishing touches. I think that the parents and grandparents, they really get so much credit, and I know how much you love them and you're dependent on them, and it will stay like that. Like I said to your dad yesterday, he's on the left, I'm on the right, and Mama's in the back pushing, and the grandparents are cheering on you. And actually, you really have the support of the whole community, isn't it? You're all, and when this girl sings, she melts hearts, little puddles of bliss from here. So both of them, Priyavate and yourself, you're loved by the community. You'll always be supported by the community. And I know that Priyavate's parents, Upa Manohar and Nayani Rajani, they also helped you in so many ways to become who you are. And now you got your hubby. You got everything you need to go back home. Just I'd love to stay here the rest of my life and just serve at this yatra. It's so nice. So you know how much I was waiting for this day. I kind of orchestrated it. I put the idea, and I called Dad, and the talks, and everything was there. So for me, we had a book that we had to study in high school. It was called Great Expectations. I just still study that. Great expectations. I had great expectations for this moment. So I'm so happy for it. So what are the vows? 15-year-old Mayuri and Dargita, you're going to take.
To not engage in meat eating, including fish and eggs, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. And I vow to chant a minimum of 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
And sing your heart out every day for to bless all the fallen conditioned souls who've forgotten Krishna, because when you sing, they'll all listen. She's also learning violin. So, I'm not going to change your name because we are branded. Mayuri, that's your brand, and all the music comes out, and we discuss with your parent. I'm going to add a little something, and this is when I add something, this is what it comes out to. Servant of Sri Radha, whose sweet celestial singing of Krishna's holy names resembles that of the cooing of Vrindavan's beloved peacocks.
Haribo!
Because Mayuri means peacock. So servant of Sri Radha, whose sweet celestial singing of Krishna's holy names resembles that of the cooing of Vrindavan's beloved peacock. My dear spiritual daughter, from this day forth you shall be known as Mayuri Gandharvika Priya. Last year I added Gandharvika. Today I'm adding Priya. So servant of Sri Radha, whose sweet celestial singing of Krishna's holy name resembles that of the cooing of Vrindavan's beloved peacock. So your brand name is Mayuri. Parents or friends are still used to that. I'm always going to call you Gandharvika Priya. Because I was attracted to helping you in spiritual life. Would you like to sing? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, all glorious to your mother and your father and your grandparents for inviting me into this family. Hare Krishna. Initiated Vaishnavi at 15 years of age. Yeah, we have a fight with you now. They told me I had to finish at 7 o'clock, so I have 4 minutes to do it. Yeah, please chant a little bit, and I'll get the fire started, do the arati, and then
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama.
this moment to of the sacred fire to mention our beloved Gopika is taking her second initiation. Step into a little bit because second initiations are good commitment because one has to uphold medical values. The Brahmins are compared to the head of society. We lead the Khatris, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras by setting a good example of being in the mode of goodness, which is a stepping stone to pure goodness, Krishna consciousness. It's and Brahmins are very clean inside and out, and therefore representing the Supreme Personality of God, both in their actions and in their words. So that comes after some time when the spiritual master sees the disciples actually practicing properly. And one of the deep Brahmins have a deep understanding of scripture and how things work in this world. And they're very merciful to all conditioned souls. So, of course, Gopika is a mommy, and she's not out there, giving lectures on the absolute truth. But she's doing a very important function. She's produced a general, her and her husband have produced a general in Vachatanya's future Sankirtan. What? Kishore. He's a fireball. And I just see him as very active one day. So this, motherhood, what it means, 7, 25, 400 days a year, we're so busy. It's service. And on top of that, she's very concerned about the future of the children in our movement. She's actively engaged in their education in various ways. She's going to write a book, I'll say it right now. She's going to write a book and maybe a movie about how to raise Krishna conscious children in the modern world with all its temptations. I went over the draft today. So she's making such a responsible service, and the medical life needs responsibility. So today, she's getting position into the medical life. Just give her being the advantage. Your daddy's temple president. So thank you to you. How do you welcome me? And they're always leaders. So the reins will be taken on these 2 fingers in the front. And I say Swaha. And my servant printed this in the smallest font. I will do my best. Everyone can repeat this auspicious mantras. Om Unmilitam Hena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishram Shapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Yamayam Vinatishwa Anantikam Swaha Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadgatatam Saha Bhaganatam Vitam Sajivam Sadgatatam Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Swaha Swaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta
Swami,
Iti namine,
Namine,
Swaha,
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 Namaste,
Namaste,
Saraswati,
Saraswati,
Deve,
Deve,
Gora,
Gora,
Vani,
Vani,
Charine,
Pracharine,
Vishesha,
Nirvishesha,
Shunyavari,
Shunyavadi,
Pashcha,
Pashchata,
Vishatarine,
Vishatarine, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Namo
Namo
Vishnu Padaya,
Vishnupadaya,
Krishna Pristaya,
Bhutale,
Bhutale,
Srimate,
Bhakti Siddhanta,
Bhakti Siddhanta,
Saraswati,
Saraswati,
Iti
Namine, Swaha, 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 Shri Varshavanavi, Devi, Haritaya, Upadhyaye, Krishna, Sambandha, Jnana, Madhur Udhala, Madhya, Sri Rupanuga, Bhaktida, Shri Gora, Guru Shakti, Vigrahaya,
Namaste,
Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Namaste,
Namaste,
Bhagavani,
Gauravani,
Vitaye,
Vitaye,
Vidatarine,
Vidatarine, Rupanuga,
Vidha,
Siddhanta, Vanta, Harine, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Namo,
Namo,
Gora,
Gora,
Ishwaraya,
Sakshat,
Bamba,
Vikradamba,
Asambhute,
Asambodhe,
Parambhujaya,
Parambhujaya,
Te Namaha,
Te Namaha,
Swaha,
Swaha, Satchidanandamine,
Shakti,
Gaura Shakti, Swarupaya, Rupanuga, Rayate, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Gora Bhava,
Viveshvam,
Viveshta, Sajjana Priya,
Vaishnava, Sarvabhauma, Shri
Jagannathaya,
Jagannathaya,
Te Namaha,
Te Namaha, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Vancha,
Vancha,
Kalpa,
Kalpa, Varubhyascha,
Kripasindhubhya,
Vivasindhubhya,
Evacha,
Evacha,
Patitanam,
Patitanam,
Avalebhyo,
Avalebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo,
Namo Namaha,
Namo Namaha, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Namo
Namaha,
Dhananyaya,
Dhananyaya,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prema,
Prema,
Jayate,
Jayate,
Krishnaya,
Krishnaya,
Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna Chaitanya, Namne,
Gaura,
Gaura,
Tushe,
Namaha,
Namaha,
Swaha,
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 Pancha,
Pancha,
Tattvakam,
Tattvakam,
Krishnam,
Krishnam,
Bhakta,
Bhakta, Bhaktavasaram,
Bhaktakyam,
Namami,
Bhaktashaktikam,
Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Hare Krishna, Sindhu,
Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika, Radhakanta, Namostute, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha,
Hare Krishna. So we'd like the initiates to please stand now, and if you put the rest of your grains into the fire, around the fire, and then you can stand in front of the fire with your banana between your folded palms, and at the end of the following mantra, you can place the banana in the fire as an act of automated full surrender to Srila Prabhupada, this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, your spiritual master, all the devotees, and the divine couple of Sri Sri Radha. So the grains we can put there. This is the mouth of Vishnu. Accepting the grains here. Okay. All right. Govindaya Devaya, Govindaya Devaya, Govindaya Namaha. Welcome to Church Bhagwan again. Let's go back to Godhead King. Take all the fallen conditioned souls with us. Hey, Jai Sri Ram. Hey, Jai Sri Ram. Jai, you'll turn the program over to our minister of ceremonies or our temple president. Temple commander, the cook.
His Holiness Indra Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Guru Parampara ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. On behalf of the entire Tawako congregation, I would like to welcome all the guests once again who came a little later, and I would like to thank from the bottom of our hearts, on behalf of every single devotee, and on behalf of the deities also, His Holiness Indra Swami Maharaj. Hari Bol! For having done this wonderful favor to us by just coming here, and then of course by connecting these wonderful souls to Srila Prabhupada, to this amazing parampara, and of course uplifting all of us who are present as well. And a special welcome to all the senior devotees who have also come. We have Kripamoy Prabhu, Hari Bol, welcome. And Kevalya Prabhu, Hari Bol, these are all our proper disciples. All the Anardas here, congratulations to all the grandparents, Hari Krishna Shri Prabhu, welcome. To Mother Prabhu and all the other devotees that have come. We want to thank you all. And so please feel free to give your full blessings to these wonderful, fortunate souls today. Hari Bol! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So we continue with this program. There'll be Sunday feast being served right outside, so we'll be serving that momentarily. In fact, it's probably started right now. And then there'll be the curtains will be closing shortly, and then at 8:15 p.m. the curtains will reopen for the beautiful Shayana Darshan. So please don't miss that. And we'd like to request all the devotees by 8:15. We have to clear out by about 8 o'clock or so. If you're taking prasad in the temple hall, we'll have to clear out well before that, so that things can open and we can be ready for the Shayana Arati. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.